a simple Bible reading, which may serve as a foundation for teaching later on. I'm using Complete Jewish Bible by David Stern. I'm reading from 2 Corinthians, starting with chapter 4. God has shown us such mercy that we do not lose courage as we do the work he has given us. Indeed, we refuse to make use of shameful, underhanded methods, employing deception or distorting God's message. On the contrary, by making very clear what the truth is, we commend ourselves to everyone's competence in the sight of God. So if indeed our good news is veiled, it is veiled only to those in the process of being lost. They do not come to trust because the God of this world has blinded their minds in order to prevent them from seeing the light shining from the good news about the glory of the Messiah, who is the image of God. For what we are proclaiming is not ourselves, but the Messiah Yeshua as Lord, with ourselves as slaves for you because of Yeshua. For it is the God who once said, "Let light shine out of darkness," who has made his light shine in our hearts, the light of the knowledge of God's glory shining in the face of the Messiah Yeshua. But we have this treasure in clay jars, so that it will be evident that such overwhelming power comes from God and not from us. We have all kinds of troubles, but we are not crushed. We're perplexed, yet not in despair, persecuted, yet not abandoned, knocked down, yet not destroyed. We always carry in our bodies the dying of Yeshua, so that the life of Yeshua may be manifested in our bodies too. For we who are alive are always being handed over to death for Yeshua's sake, so that Yeshua's life also might be manifested in our mortal bodies. Thus, death is at work in us, but life in you. The Tanakh says, "I trusted, therefore I spoke." Since we have that same Spirit who enables us to trust, we also trust, and therefore we speak. Because we know that he who raised the Lord Yeshua will also raise us with Yeshua and bring us along with you into his presence. All this is for your sakes, so that as grace flows out to more and more people, it may cause thanksgiving to overflow and bring glory to God. This is why we do not lose courage. Though our outer self is heading for decay, our inner self is being renewed daily. For our light and transient troubles are achieving for us an everlasting glory whose weight is beyond description. We concentrate not on what is seen, but on what is not seen, since things seen are temporary, but things not seen are eternal. Chapter 5. We know that when the tent which houses us here on earth is torn down, we have a permanent building from God, a building not made by human hands, to house us in heaven. Let's read that again. We know that when the tent which houses us here on earth is torn down, we have a permanent building from God, a building not made by human hands, to house us in heaven. For in this tent, our earthly body, we groan with desire to have around us the home from heaven that will be ours. Hey. With this around us, we will not be found naked. Yes, while we are in this body, we groan with the sense of being oppressed, like we are in prison. It is not so much that we want to take something off, but rather to put something on over it, so that what must die may be swallowed up by the life. Moreover, it is God who has prepared us for this very thing, and as a pledge, he has given us his Spirit. So we are always confident. We know that as long as we are at home in the body, we are away from our home with the Lord. For we live by trust, not by what we see. We are confident then, and would much prefer to leave our home in the body and come to our home with the Lord. Therefore, whether at home or away from home, we try our utmost to please him. For we must all appear before the Messiah's court of judgment, where everyone will receive the good or bad consequences of what he did while he was in the body. One more time. Therefore, whether at home or away from home, we try our utmost to please him, for we must all appear before the Messiah's court of judgment. We're all on our way to court, but we will not be serving on the jury. Don't you see? One more time. Therefore, whether at home or away from home, we try our utmost to please him. To please who? To please him For we must all appear before him, before the Messiah's court of judgment, where everyone will receive the good or bad consequences from what he believed. No. No. So that everyone will receive the good or bad consequences of what he did while he was in the body. So it is with the fear of the Lord before us that we try to persuade people. Moreover, God knows us as we really are, and I hope that in your consciences you too know us as we really are. We are not recommending ourselves to you again, but giving you a reason to be proud of us, so that you will be able to answer those who boast about a person's appearance rather than his inner qualities. If we are insane, it is for God's sake, and if we are sane, it is for your sake. For the Messiah's love has hold of us. The Messiah's love has hold of us. Because we are convinced that one man died on behalf of all mankind, which implies that all mankind was already dead, and that he died on behalf of all in order that those who live should not live any longer for themselves, but for the one who on their behalf died and was raised. So from now on, we do not look at anyone from a worldly viewpoint, even if we once regard the Messiah from a worldly viewpoint. We do so no longer. Therefore, if anyone is united with the Messiah, he is a new creation. The old has passed. Look, what has come is fresh and new. And it is all from God, who through the Messiah has reconciled us to himself and has given us the work of that reconciliation, which is that God in the Messiah was reconciling mankind to himself, not counting their sin against them, and entrusting to us the message of reconciliation. Therefore, we are ambassadors of the Messiah. In effect, God is making his appeal through us. What we do is appeal on behalf of the Messiah. Be reconciled to God. God made this sinless man be a sin offering on our behalf, so that in union with him we might fully share in God's righteousness. Chapter 6. As God's fellow workers, we also urge you not to receive his grace and then do nothing with it.